Howdy, folks. I'm the Jelly Bean Fiend Ralph.
I'm Amber.
And here's some more jelly beans. Alright, folks, our very first, not first ever, but our first creepy letter for today is titled, Am I the jerk for shouting at my neighbor to leave me alone after he tried to control when I go to sleep? No, it's your neighbor. You're not a 7-year-old person, and they're not your parent. I'm a 30-year-old female, and I live in an old Victorian townhouse converted into 4 flats. The ground floor is the one with access to the garden, and the higher flats have bigger rooms. If you stand in the garden, you can easily see into the first floor window. A few weeks ago, a family with 3 children moved into the ground floor flat. The parents look to be in their 30s. I live in the first floor flat right above theirs, on my own. I've been renting it for a few years now. It's fairly cheap, and the landlord is great, and it's a safe neighborhood. I am staying put until I decide where I am going to live, thinking of moving abroad, but I digress. I work from home. I'm a self-published author, and while I'm not rich, I'm doing well for publishing standards. I managed to find a niche, and I have a large back catalog that allowed me to quit my full-time job a few years back. I work best at night, and typically go to bed anywhere between 3 and 5 a.m., and I wake up around noon. So, around 2 weeks ago, I bumped into Kyle, our new neighbor. And he asked what I'm doing up so late at night every night. And I asked if I was disturbing them. I am always very quiet, but you never know. And he said no, they couldn't hear me, but he could see me from the garden and was worried what a pretty young lady was doing up so late. I joked that it's my secret and fired the question back, asking what he was doing up in his garden at night. He was having drinks with some of his mates, and I didn't close my curtains properly, and they could see me, and were wondering what I was doing up so late. How about minding her own business? Like you should be, creepy neighbor. But we haven't actually reached the worst of this letter. You folks might think, oh, how can it get worse? It gets worse. I found this intrusive and said that I'm a writer, and I was working, and wanted to finish the conversation, but he continued that he wouldn't allow his girlfriend to work so late because it's inappropriate, and who knows what she would be up to. I said that I was glad that I wasn't his wife, and I went inside my house. Well, a few days after that, he knocked on my door with my mail in his hand. Our front door has a mail slot that the postie puts letters through, and whoever finds it puts it in the appropriate basket. Each flat has its own. Never been a problem. I thanked him and said he could have just left it in the basket, and he said that he wanted to check up on me because he was worried that I wasn't awake yet, and it was noon already. I closed my door in his face. The next night, I got a text message from an unknown number at 3 a.m. telling me to go to sleep. Then I could hear him at 9 a.m. screaming at my window, "Rise and shine, OP." At this point, I was freaked out. It sounds like the plot of a bad thriller, and I'm not about to live it. I shouted for him to leave me alone and pretty much F off. He called me an ungrateful bee. Well, it turns out that Kyle knows one of my friends, and he told them what happened, and my friend took his side. I genuinely thought that I was right, but he said that I was overreacting, that Kyle has a girlfriend and kids, and he's not gonna risk it. I'm trying to consider his side, but I'm wondering, was I the jerk in this situation? No! OP, no. Alright, folks, what do you think?
Definitely not the jerk.
Yeah.
This guy is a creep, and your so-called friend is also a creep.
Yeah, with friends like Kyle, you do not need enemies here. He's just leading you down the wrong path entirely. So, ugh.
I mean...
Oh, Kyle's not his friend.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. With friends like Kyle's friend. OP's friend. He should have left you alone. He shouldn't have bothered with your mail, right? He shouldn't have been asking you why you were up so late at night. There were so many things in here.
He shouldn't have been peeping in your window.
He shouldn't have been peeping in your windows.
Sending you text messages from unknown numbers.
Yeah, like the fact that he went out of his way to somehow find your text phone number and then
Probably
text
the
you.
Friend.
Well, yeah, I'm imagining it's the friend, but the fact that he did this is just absolutely just unacceptable. At that point in time, that becomes stalking. That becomes just completely unacceptable. He needs to be reported to the police, your landlord at the very least. This is just not a good situation at all. So, yeah, I don't think that you're the jerk, OP. I think that you have a problem and you need to talk to your landlord and get this guy kicked out because he's completely crossed the line here before it, turns dangerous for you. And I know that your friend is like, oh, he's got a wife and kids. Yeah, well, he's also got a big problem with stalking OP. So,
why is he so concerned about when you go to bed or when you wake up? That's
Yeah.
not normal neighborly behavior.
No, that is not neighborly behavior. He's trying to. He's a gross person he needs to mind his own business. Anyhow, take care and good luck. And Crystal Queen 3000 says, not the jerk, your neighbor is a full-on creeper. Keep an eye on that one and trust your gut. He's invasive, pushy, and your whole post gives me the creeps. Yeah. N2OC 10H 12C 8H 10N 402 says, I'm curious about his real motives. He's simply inserted himself into OP's life because he's worried about her sleeping schedule. I'm not buying it. OP should be vigilant. Yeah. I would say run, OP, but this is your house and you don't deserve to feel unsafe in your house. All right, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Taking Just a Prank Breakup Text Seriously? So I had been friends with Dan for like 2 years and we were together for 3 years. And in a lot of ways, we really clicked. But one point of conflict was that he always took jokes too far. 2 weeks ago, it was my birthday, and I got a text at work asking for me to come over to his place after work because we needed to talk. I replied, talk about what? And he said he just didn't think things were working between us. I had a cry with my work bestie in the bathroom, knowing that it was pretty much a breakup text, and feeling hurt that he would drop it on me by text on my birthday at work. I was angry enough that I let my friend take my phone, and she ended up just sending K and boy, bye, then blocking him. My boss came into the bathroom and found me crying. I said that I'd just been dumped by my boyfriend by text, and it was my birthday too. And she gave me the rest of the day off of work and told me just to file it as sick leave, which was super kind of her. I got in my car and I went to his house knowing he'd still be at work, and I grabbed all of my stuff because honestly I didn't feel like I had it in me to play the game of trying to get the ex to sort out all of your stuff and give it back to you over time. I just wanted to get my stuff and go home. I met my friends for drinks, and I had a long talk where I vented about how sudden it was, how it felt out of nowhere because we had plans to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas together with his family, how we were starting to talk about getting engaged, and how I wanted to unblock him and actually talk. But my friends were like, not tonight, you're drunk. If you still want to, in the morning. Which I feel like was good advice under the circumstances. But when I actually did call my ex the next day, he was getting upset with me about how I didn't actually come by to talk because, get this, it was a prank. A prank, folks. Ha ha. It was so funny to make you cry. He thought it would be funny to send me a we need to talk text, and then when I show up, take me on a fancy dinner on a boat and out to an exclusive rooftop bar and basically surprise me with a really good night. I didn't buy it at first. I was like, you can't just change your mind about breaking up with someone and make some stuff up about it. And he said that he was serious and it was just a joke, and that he hadn't meant to come off as a breakup text. I just said that I wasn't interested in being with someone who dumped me over text, whether it was just a prank, bro, or not, and I re-blocked him. I've since told all of our friends that he dumped me over text on my birthday and then tried to get me back by saying it was a birthday prank or something, which is making him angry because he says he never dumped me at all, but everyone thinks he did. And he's angry that I threw it all away like that and that I'd lie to our mutual friends. Am I the jerk for being like, okay, when my ex sent me a breakup text on my birthday as a prank. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. You're probably doing yourself a big favor because it
Yeah.
sounds like
Oh
his
my
sense of humor
goodness.
is tormenting you and making you cry on your birthday.
Like, who thinks, you know what? I want to make my girlfriend cry on her birthday, and then I just want to make it up to her later. It's like such a twisted thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do something like that, then you need to immediately be like, aha, just kidding. We got plans for dinner or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't lead someone on and make them think that they're being broken up with. You send, we need to talk. And then when someone replies, about what? About what our plans are for tonight, silly.
Mm-hmm.
That would be maybe like a momentarily, oh, haha, I was worried there for a second, and probably cruel still to do on someone's birthday. But
That reminds me, when we first started going together, I would sometimes say we should talk, like just because I wanted to talk to Brian. I didn't realize like I felt like talking, and Brian would be like, "About what?" And it's like I'd just be like anything, because like literally that's how my brain worked. I was like, "Oh yeah, we should talk like about something," because I don't want to just sit here and not talk.
in this particular case, he took this too far.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a joke. Who does this to somebody they care about, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that, right? Anyhow, take care and good luck. And Unique Upstairs 7 says, not the jerk, but a 2-year friendship and then a 3-year relationship, and you're happy just not to try to work things out. And I'm not saying that he was right to do what he did. He was stupid to do it, but that's 5 years thrown away when you could talk and try to work things out and set some boundaries. And OP replies, honestly, I'm happy. I feel like some of the stuff was just a line in the sand for me, and on a birthday breakup text at work is definitely one of them. We've worked through other stuff in the past, and it's always been a lot of work, and honestly, I'm not willing to do that work because he decided to be cruel. So I think that's also important. This kind of goes beyond, I didn't expect that this was like the one time, one event type thing. When someone does these kinds of things and you're like, yeah, we're done, that's just the last straw. It isn't usually the first instance of something like this, right? I would imagine that he's done similarly cruel things to OP in the past, and this was just the breaking point. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I have tea that I picked out myself, and I'll let you guess what it is. Amber has jokes.
Did you hear about the 2 cheerleaders who got married?
I did hear about the 2 cheerleaders who got married. They were very happy together, and they had a happily ever after that was envious by just about anyone else in the world. It was such a romance.
That all may be true, but did you hear about how they met?
Oh, did I hear about how they met? Yeah, they met at cheer practice. I mean, that's how cheerleaders generally meet.
They met by chance.
No, that's terrible. And I have Mega Mint tea. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. As you can see, I have finally fixed this. I fixed it in a backup way because the other way I used to have is broken, so it doesn't look the same as it used to because it's not the same. But we do have a live stream on Friday, so we're looking forward to seeing you all there.
I'll be in costume.
Amber will be in costume, and I will maybe be in costume. We'll have to see. Maybe. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.